I have been struggling with my health for a long time. When I get my dips with Hashimoto's, I feel that excruciating fatigue. The first couple weeks were a little hard, and I was a little bit scared just because of my health. Because with Hashimoto's, you can't work out too hard. You can't be on too much of a calorie deficit. You have to eat certain things. You can't eat certain things. So annoying.
I don't know, maybe I'm stupid, but it's just like a very vulnerable moment because estoy logrando lo que me propuse, and I'm so proud of myself. I want Noah to be proud of me one day and be like, "Wow, mom, you really did that," you know? So you can be healthy for me. Thank you for doing that for me. And sometimes I don't want to go. Sometimes I'm tired because my Hashimoto's just like really makes me so fatigued, and I'm just like, oh, I don't want to, but if you wait for the motivation, you're never gonna get it. Keep going, girl. We got this.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Lead Podcast. I am your host, Kylie Corona. Thank you so much for coming on back and joining me. So, this podcast is consistency in health, marriage, and faith. I want to tell you guys a little bit about what I've been doing these past couple months. I believe this started in May. Oh, Mother's Day. Yeah, Mother's Day weekend or the week it started Mother's Day's weekend. I have been struggling with my health for a long time, and it's just progressively gotten worse and worse. And if you have Hashimoto's, I know it sounds like a Pokemon, but if you have Hashimoto's, then you know, and if you don't, then you just can't understand. But it's a lot to do with my weight, with my hormones, and with my energy. After I had my son, I I was, postpartum, so I just waited it out, and I was like, okay, all of these things are just because I just had a baby. But my hair still kept falling out after about the year and after the 2 years, and I'm like, that's kind of strange. I mean, our hair always falls out, but it's a little extra right now. So I was like, okay, that's weird. And then I get fatigue like nothing I've ever experienced before until I was pregnant. And for all the mamas out there, that first trimester, it's just awful. So that's how I feel. When I get my dips with Hashimoto's, and it could be due to diet, it could be due to stress, whatever it may be. But whenever I get those dips, I feel that excruciating fatigue like when I was pregnant. I had been wanting to lose weight and go to the gym, but I just hadn't been able to go because my son wouldn't let me. And I think I've talked about that. And so there was this one coach, and Andre Haubsky or something like that. I'm sorry, I know I'm butchering it. But one of the influencers that I follow, he teamed up with him and he was doing a challenge. And so I was like, you know what? This is my opportunity to do it. I need to do something. And he has a whole team. He has dietitians, he has doctors, and then him, coach, and other coaches. And so I said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to pull the trigger and I want to do this. I didn't tell my husband about it. Um, it's not like just $20, it was a good amount. For the challenge, it's 160. And normally the month is like 320, if I'm not mistaken, or more. Um, and so they were doing a discount. And I said, you know what? I can't do the 300 some a month, but I can do this. And it was for 6 weeks. And I was like, okay, well, you get a little bit extra. So I just did it. I signed up, and it was about 2 weeks prior that I had signed up. So I was doing my own diet. Kind of just whatever I could so I could kind of mentally prepare for it. And then it started in May, the Mother's Day weekend. So I did what I had to do Mother's Day weekend, indulged. And then come Monday, it was time to go. So I remember the first couple weeks were a little hard, just because I couldn't go to the gym, but the diet part was relatively easy. And I was a little bit scared just because of my health, because with Hashimoto's, you can't work out too hard. You can't be on too much of a calorie deficit. You have to eat certain things. You can't eat certain things. So annoying. So the biggest thing with this diet was no sugar, a lot of water, and high protein. I was doing 161 grams of protein. And the way I was eating, I was just thinking to myself, there's no way, like, I'm going to gain weight. This is a lot of food. And one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to do it is for my health, because I want to be the healthiest that I can be for my son. Um, I think that he deserves the best version of me. And so I really wanted to do this for him. And that was like my motivation. I need to get healthy for him. I need to be strong for him. And one of the things, like I had mentioned, is that I just thought I was going to gain weight because it was a lot of protein. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to lose weight. But I did. And after a couple of weeks, I had hit my highest weight ever right before I was starting. And that's when I was like, I have to do this. There's no way I weigh this much. And then I did my own little diet. And within a couple of days, I lost 2 pounds. So I think it was a lot of inflammation. And then I started the diet and I would lose like 2 pounds a week. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. And I was taking the progress pictures and I noticed it mostly on my back. And then after like 4 or 5 weeks, almost towards the end, I was able to start going to the gym. Maybe it was 4 weeks or 3.5. I was able to start going to the gym. The first time I went, my son only stayed like 45 minutes, but he was crying and I stayed too long. I should have gone at like 35 minutes. And then the second time I did a little bit longer. The third time, my friend's daughters were there, so he was better. And then he just got used to it. He just got used to me going. So now we go 3 to 4 times a week, sometimes 5 if we can. And the biggest thing for me was having not to eat any sugar. I love my sweets. I have such a sweet tooth. And so no sugar at all was a huge challenge. But because I was like locked in, I was ready to do this, it was a lot easier. So you have to mentally be ready to do it. And I lost in that 6 weeks, I lost a total of 12 pounds. And now it's just 14, 16 pounds, just depends on the week. But I am gaining muscle. So maybe it's more fat that I've lost because, the scale can kind of be a little tricky because I've gained muscle and lost fat at the same time. So I've kind of stayed here at my weight, but I've seen difference in my body. And other people are now telling me. So that's always nice to hear because you see yourself every day. So now that the 6 weeks has been over, it was over in Father's Day weekend. And it's been probably another 6 weeks now. And I haven't done the strict diet anymore, but I have been I have been better about doing higher protein intake. And I think overall, the knowledge that I gained from that and the motivation and what would I say? Like the lifestyle change that I made has been really nice. I've been able to go 3, 4 times a week all the time. And it's been really fun. This is something that I used to do before and I just needed to get back into it, but getting into it was really hard. I didn't want to go to the gym. So go to the gym. Until you're like used to it, then nobody wants to go to the gym. And now I love it and it's been really fun. So that weight loss challenge has really given me that push that I needed. And I'm constantly posting pictures and videos of my progress. And today specifically, I was working out at the gym and today was back day. And I don't really work out arms, shoulders, and chest. I'm just a girl. So I always do legs and back, and then biceps are kind of secondary. I was like, you know what? I'm going to start working out my shoulders and my biceps. And that just happened last week. And today I took like a little video at this little gym by my house. And I flexed and I was just like, how do I even flex? Like to show the muscle. And when I did, I like paused it and I went to go look and I had muscle. And I was just like, really? And I got really emotional. I'll post a video here next. Okay, emotional. What is it? Vulnerable moment. So I've been on a fitness journey to get strong because I want to be stronger for my son.
that's been like my motivation of I want to be healthier. I want to be stronger so that I can be there for my son, so that I can jump and run and be there for my son, right? And I have Hashimoto's, which affects my thyroid, and so I've been on a journey to figure out how to be better with that as well. And yeah, and so I've lost like 14 pounds, but I've been gymming, so I've kind of plateaued and been here. But I have lost weight. I've looked thinner, but I see myself every day and I don't notice. Anyways, I don't really ever do arms, and I just do them here and there. And then today, I decided to do some arm workout, and I flexed. And then I was looking at the picture. I don't even know how to flex. And then I looked at the picture and I was like, oh my God, like I'm doing it. I'm like getting here, you know? And I don't know, maybe I'm stupid, but it's just like a very vulnerable moment because estoy logrando lo que me propuse. I'm getting to where I want to be, you know? So it's really cool. And it's really emotional, and I'm so proud of myself. And I'm allowing myself to be proud of myself because I'm really hard on myself. And even though I took that picture, there's some things that I'm like, oh, I still have that year and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no, wait. Enjoy the progress that you've gotten and like celebrate it. Celebrate my wins along the way, you know? And I just wanted to share that because I'm sure I'm not the only one in the world that goes through it. And yeah, I'm over here in the parking lot of the gym and people are walking by. They probably think I'm talking to someone. I'm talking to you guys. But I'll post a picture. I'm just so excited and I can't believe it. And I want Noah to be proud of me one day and be like, wow, Mom, you really did that? You know? So you can be healthy for me. Thank you for doing that for me. I feed him as much like as the best I can, not to be processed. I still do processed food sometimes, but you know, I'm just trying my best to be like the best version of myself for him and give him the best food so that he can be the smartest boy, the most healthiest boy, so that he can be like the man of God that God intends him to be, and his mind and his soul and everything can be so pure and not full of all this nonsense. And so I'm like, wait, but I need to do it too, and my body is the temple and I need to take care of it. And so here I am going to the gym 3-4 times a week, and sometimes I don't want to go. Sometimes I'm tired because my Hashimoto's just like really makes me so fatigued, and I'm just like, oh, I don't want to. But if you wait for the motivation, you're never going to get it. So you just have to be consistent and be disciplined. I'll post a picture, and yeah, that was my app, my gym card app. And I hope that this is motivational for somebody, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be. Look at all this, and here my little fat, but I'm a lot better than I was even a month ago. I'm a lot better than I was when I started this journey, like 3 months now. And I'm so proud of myself. And I'm so proud of myself for getting here and still going. And in my head, there's that little voice saying, you can't do it. Just stop. You're not going to look like this or that. You're always going to have your flabby belly because of the baby. You're just always going to have that. Why even work towards it? And then there's the other side of me that's like, shut up. You're going to do it. You're doing it. Keep going. Even if you can't. Even when you don't want to. Keep going because you're going to get there. This is for your son. This is all for him. Be strong. Be healthy. Anyways, keep going, girl. We got this.
And in that video, I just wanted to be raw with my emotions and what I was feeling at that moment. And I think whenever I think about the end goal, it does make me emotional because this isn't about me. It's not, yes, I end up like looking good and feeling good about how I look, but it's like, it's more than that. It's about, wow, I actually did it. I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud that I was able to like keep pushing and get here. And like I said in that video, there's a little voice in me that says, you're not going to do it. That's doing too much. You're not going to get there. And then there's this other side of me that's like, we need to get there. You can do it. Come on, keep pushing. Don't listen to her. Keep pushing, keep pushing. And so that's the one I'm going to listen to. And so it was really nice to see that progress. And every time I get a little milestone, I'm like, okay, take it in, because I'm not really good at doing that and taking it in and just learning to be happy and or proud of myself. And this consistency, I prayed to God from the beginning. I said, God, please help me translate this consistency, this motivation, this determination that I'm putting into the gym, my health, into my spiritual life. And so that's something that I want to touch on next, because consistency doesn't matter just in fitness and in health. It's also important how you consistently show up in marriage and how you consistently show up in your faith with God in your relationship. And so in one of the episodes prior to this, I talked about love and respect just a little tad bit. I want to share the biggest takeaways that I got from the Love and Respect book and this series that we did. And one of them is, well, the whole thing about love and respect is that women want to feel loved and men want to feel respected. And us as women, we love so easily. It just comes naturally to us because it's just who we are. And men, the way they act is like about honor and respect because it's just so natural to them. That's why in Ephesians 5, God asks us to, both women and men, to love and respect our partners. One of the things that it was just like, okay, wow, that's amazing. That book, the author talks about pink and blue and how women see pink and hear in pink and talk in pink, and men see, hear, and talk in blue. What does that mean? So we can say the same thing and it means something completely different because we perceive it in pink or blue. So for example, when we hear when you sit down and you're like, hey babe, we need to talk. Pink thinks, oh, we're connecting. Let's talk about whether it's something serious or important. We're connecting. It's a connection that we're having. And blue says, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble. What did I do? And tell me if I'm wrong. If there's any men there watching, sometimes, it's a bell curve, they always say in the book. So sometimes women will see blue more, but in general, women see pink and men are blue. And we always are like, connection. You're like, no, it's nothing bad. I just want to talk to you about something important, or I need to talk to you about something. And they're like, what is it? No, babe, it's fine. So we can say the same words, but they can mean something completely different. Going on to the second portion of my notes here. Okay. And then another example is, hey, I'm working late. Pink hears, I'm not important. And blue hears, I'm providing. One sentence that pink and blue just see completely different. And who's wrong? Nobody's wrong. They're just different. And then when we kind of get into oh, well, we stick to our pink and blue and don't kind of ask or say, hey, that made me feel this way, or are you saying it like this for understanding? We kind of go into what is called in that book is the crazy cycle. So when the issue is no longer the issue. So for example, okay, last podcast, I recorded, I'm not kidding, 6 or 8 times. I had no memory on my phone apparently, or not enough, because I had half a terabyte of photos and videos and all that. So I didn't have enough video, and I was over here recording and talking and yapping, and then I was like, I don't like it. I don't like the one I recorded. So I deleted it. It just felt weird. So I deleted it, and I was like, I'll just do it again later. I'll give myself an hour or so. And then I came back and recorded, and then it was stopped at 5 minutes or at 20 minutes. And then I didn't notice. So I tried to redo it, and I did it, whatever. It just was a mess. So I was frustrated. The first half that I did, the first recording that I did that I didn't like and deleted, I should have kept it. My husband was outside, and he was going to go to church because he had to do something. And then my father-in-law was also here, and he was going to help with my son while I was recording. We were talking while he was on his way to church, and he said, hey, he was like upset. And he said, hey, I'm upset because there was like a little bit of attitude. He's like, I'm upset because I told you I needed to go at 6:30, and if you're going to record, then you just need to be mindful of the time or something, because I needed to leave. But I stayed because our son was making a lot of noise and my dad wasn't like quieting him down. I think he forgot. So I was making sure that he was quiet so that he doesn't come out in the background. And he's like, and that made me delayed. And now I'm annoyed and I have to go to church and do this and that. Thankfully, the Lord came over me, and I was like, okay, because I always ask God, help me see things away from his perspective, or like see him the way you see him. And I was just like, well, you know what? And I told him, instead of getting mad, normally I'd be like, okay, babe, like I'd have some attitude back or something. And then I was just like, you know what? I'm sorry that I made you late. That was very inconsiderate of me. And I'm sorry for doing that. And thank you, because you went out of your way to stay longer to help me so that our son wasn't making noise in the background. I was like, thank you. I appreciate that. And then boom, instantly I heard like him, I could see him like calm down and just, and then he said, you know what? Thank you for saying that and acknowledging it. And sometimes that's all it is. And it's not going into that crazy cycle of, well, why are you getting all mad at me? You know, I have to do this. And then we would have just, like, then he would have gotten mad. I would have gotten mad. We would have been upset. And although I was frustrated that I couldn't do it, I do appreciate that he like did go out of his way and he was thinking about me. And that was nice of him. He could have just left, and he didn't. And so that was really nice. And I think he liked that I acknowledged his effort and that that was just respectful of me. And we didn't go into the crazy cycle, but we could have easily gone into the crazy cycle. And then the issue isn't the issue no more. In this example, the issue was he was disrespected by me because I was inconsiderate of his time and when he needed to leave. And then I would have felt unloved by the way he was talking to me with an attitude or with coldness. And I would have felt unloved. And then we would have just kept going. And luckily, God helped me not to go down that rabbit hole. But we go down that rabbit hole plenty of times. But it's important to be able to recognize it. And like the author always says in the book, whoever's a more mature one, like take a step back and say, hey, wait, I'm sorry. Did I say something to upset you, or did I say something that was disrespectful? And that can go a long way for both. Or him, hey, did I say something that was unloving to you? So whoever is a more mature one, go first, even if it's by a little bit, but go first and have that acknowledgement, and so that you can both just kind of come down and be on level ground, if that makes sense. And another thing that I learned from that is my response is my responsibility. My response isn't always about my husband. Does he deserve it? No, it's about my obedience to the Lord. And that's something that I never thought about, ever. Have you ever thought about it like that? Maybe you have, but it's something that I've never thought about. So I'm going to grab a Bible here and go to Ephesians. Where is Ephesians? Wives and husbands. So verses 21. Submit yourself to one another because of your reverence for Christ. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave his life for it. 28. Men ought to love their wives just as they love their own bodies. A man who loves his wife loves himself. And then we go to the last verse, 33. But it also applies to you. Every husband must love his wife as himself, and every wife must respect her husband. God asked me to respect my husband. Not because he didn't say your husband deserves it, so you give it to him. He said, no, I'm asking you to respect your husband. And husband, I am asking you to love your wife. This is you being obedient to me. And I've never thought about it like that. So ask yourself this with me: how can I honor the Lord in my marriage? And that is something that I am constantly asking myself. And so a lot of the times I fail. But I'm trying to see how be consistent in my relationship with the Lord so that that can translate into my relationship with my husband and with my son. It's all about consistency. and everything. That's why I prayed and asked the Lord, please help me take this consistency, motivation, determination in my health and my fitness into other areas of my life. So, with all that being said, I want to have you take me up on a challenge. I know there's a lot of different areas in which we can improve. And I started with my fitness, and I'm starting with my fitness and my health. So, let's do a fitness one, let's do a marriage one, and let's do a faith one, right? Because that's kind of what we're talking about. So, what's one way that you can show up for yourself in health and fitness, in marriage, and in faith for me? So, I'm showing up for myself in fitness and health by going to the gym 3 times a week and eating better. But mostly it's by going to the gym and getting stronger. That's how I'm showing up for myself, and it feels so good. And what area am I being asked to show up for in my marriage? It's what I kind of just said about respect. But I think about, for me specifically, and a little bit vulnerable here, is I'm an older sibling. So I'm going to probably do this on the next podcast so it makes sense. But I forget what it's called. It's called like the sibling order theory. I'm the eldest. So I always want to fix things. I always want to correct. And that's so annoying. And in my marriage, I do that as well. So I think one thing that the Lord is asking me to, one area in my marriage that He wants me to show up in, is kind of being more of a listener than a talker, or more of a listener than a fixer and talker. And be more so, instead of fixing, encourage. So that's one way. What's one area that I'm being asked to keep showing up in my faith? I think it's just even starting. So reading something, learning something about God, whether it's my lesson, because we have like a weekly lesson that we study that's short, or I don't know, I just maybe this little book, Zip It, it's like a devotional, or like doing something, whether it's this book, devotional 40-day challenge, and it talks about, that's something I want to talk about on the next one as well, on one of the podcasts. I'm going to try to do it in Spanish. Or there's this book called the Power of a Praying Wife, and it's also like a devotional type thing. So reading something every day that I can kind of take a seat and think about it. And I'm busy, so there's always something. So yeah, those are 3 things that I can work on. Please let me know what the 3 things you want to challenge yourself in this next week, 2 weeks until the next podcast, so that put it down in the comments, and I would love to see those and read them or talk about them on the next one. And yeah, thank you for joining me in this podcast. Thank you for being a part of this journey with me. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on my TikTok. I'll put the handles below. And I'm just posting kind of daily things of what I'm doing. A lot of my workout stuff, day in the life, just a little bit of everything. It just makes it fun. That's another way that I show up for myself and you guys, I guess, is I probably post more there. Yeah. I'm like, maybe I can do little vlogs, just something little short. I think they're fun and they're good little memories to look back on. But anyways, I digress. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being a part of the family, the Lead family. And I look forward to reading your comments. And please let me know what topics came to mind that you would like me to talk about. And yeah, I'll see if I can have a guest here soon, because it's always fun to have someone with me. But thank you. Have a good rest of your day, of your night, of your week. And we'll see you on the next one. Don't forget, let's lead together.